was a great experience to sit down with Coach Katie Card at the Huddle Conference in Atlanta. One of the things she feels particularly passionate about is developing team leadership among her players. Let's hear what Coach has to say about this.
So what we do to develop our leadership and our captains on our team, and I can't take credit fully because it's myself and our head coach. We work together with the team. But we have a program at Michigan that we've been very fortunate because of our resources to have, which is the Jeff Jansen Leadership Academy. And basically, Jeff Jansen is a mediator, but he works with lots of student athletes. And he comes in 6 times during the year and he meets with not only rising leaders, so you can choose players on your team that are kind of distinguishing themselves as maybe people that could lead your team in the future. And so they go to a Rising Leaders Academy, and then our veteran leaders, who are usually your captains or older student athletes, juniors and seniors, they go to a veteran leadership academy basically. And the coaches also go as well. And so we've had that to be able to develop them, and they've had that outside of us. We always kind of bring them in after and then talk about like, how is this, they're ranking themselves on how they are as leaders. And I think that's very important for them to see that, like they have to be really honest with themselves. And then we can talk about, hey, this is what we see in you also. So that's kind of something that both the rising and the veteran leaders get. Now with our captains specifically, we use the captain's manual that Jeff Jansen has out in building leaders. So we meet either weekly or every other week with our captains. We bring them in and we're very candid and open. What's going on? They really rank themselves on how they're doing in different aspects. And I think it keeps them in the conversation of, I'm a leader and how am I doing? And sometimes they have good days and sometimes they don't. But they're very conscious of it because they are continually seeing like, how am I doing? And I think also, as a coach, you're a leader and you have conflicts, and who do you go to? You talk to your colleagues, you talk to people about it. They, as leaders and captains on the team, they also need people to talk to about it. And I think sometimes, they might be afraid to talk to coaches. We really open that up and say, hey, we want to hear what's going on, and we still want to encourage them to resolve the issue within the team, but we want to help them, and how can we guide them in that? And so I think the meetings that we have with them and the development kind of occurs that way because they're still taking charge themselves. So that's really like the way that we've worked with our captains, is just really building this, you can do it yourself, okay? You don't need us to resolve the conflict. Obviously there's some things that we have to step in, but for the most part we want them to have the strength, the confidence that they can do it themselves. And really we want to create that, because in the real world you're not always going to have somebody to help you out. You have to take charge and lead and take care of conflicts. I think really it also keeps them accountable. And it's never perfect. You have the good years, the bad years with captains, with your team and all that kind of stuff. But I think that for the most part, what we've done in really keeping them in check and talking with them is we're helping them for their future. We're helping them to really, solve those problems on their own.
Once again, we thank you for joining us for this episode of The Real Women of Coaching, part of the Women's Coaching Network. Join us next time as we wrap up our conversation with Katie and discuss the all-important topic of team building.